Hi guys, today I want to show you, I'm updating my large rose tutorial, and we're going to create the large rose because in this template we have a large and an extra large rose that can be created from this template. So in the center template for our large rose we will be using 8 pieces. On the first petal for our large rose, we will be using 4 pieces. And petal number 2, we will be using for the large rose 12 pieces. And petal number 3, we will be using 8 petals. So this large rose, this large last petal 4, is meant for an extra large rose. So when we create an extra large rose, we'll be using these petals. So we're going to take off the center. That's only for a large rose center. So you're going to go to your petal 1, which is going to be a center for the extra large rose. There will be an PDF instructions for the large and the extra large rose, which petals to use. So if you're creating an extra large rose, you will go, the center will be 8 pieces. The second template will be 4 pieces. The third petal will be 12 pieces. And the last petal will be 8 pieces. So I'm only making, so I'm just going to remove this petal. This is for an extra large rose. As I said, there will be information available which petals to use for the large and the extra large. So I'm using these ones today for a large paper flower rose. So I already pre-cut my petals here. So as I said, I'm actually using the Recollections paper pack of Purple Passions. I'm using the lilac in this rose. So the heaviness is 65 libs or 176 GSM. You've got 50 in a pack and they're all different shades of purple. Of course it's 8.5 inch times 11 inch or 21 centimeters times 27.9 centimeters. And the paper is very good for roses especially. So I've pre-cut my petals. So when you download your PDF file, you will print it and cut your templates on heavier cardstock so you can use them more. So this is a heavy cardstock. So I always cut them out in a heavier so I can use them more often, more times. And also then what you do, you trace them and you cut them out as I have. Alright, so now we're using 8 from the center. We're making a large rose today. Okay, I'm going to get 4 out. Okay, we're going to put glue at the end here and create a bow. Okay, and do that same to the other one. Create a bow. Alright, so now I'm going to put one of the petals that we used, one of the bows on top of each other like that, and create a cross. So now I want to point out before I glue on that top piece, because the spaces between the petals in between should all be alike or very alike in the spaces should be actually equal to all the 4 parts. So when we fix up that, I want them all sort of to have the gap between them to be equal. So when I see that it's equal all my 4 sides, then I just add the glue. Okay, so now what I do, I'll put my ruler at the end of the and fold. See, I get that end here and fold upwards. All 4 of them. So as you can see, we've created a square at the back. So that's going to be much easier for us to keep the petals in place when we build the center. So we'll pick up these bottom ones first and create the bud of the rose. So just squeeze them together like that. And now put this side inwards. As I said, and then now I like my centers to be the rosebud to be enclosed, but you can have that. So I think we better do open. So I'll probably just open it a little for you to see. Okay, so I'm just going to add glue and glue. So now, as you can see, we've created our bud. Now 2 opposite sides. Again, and glue. So I like my rosebuds to have same gaps between them on both sides. So there's our back. As you can see, the square is still there. So we're going to go to our next 4 petals, and I'm going to crease them, fold them, fold them upwards. So now we're going to start adding the rest of the center templates. So I'm going to do it one by one. I'm going to pick up my center. Okay, add a bit of glue and position your petal right where we finished last. So like that. That's why I'm creating these creases, so you won't have problems of adding, so you know where to add the actual petal. Also on the opposite side. Okay. So there you go. Now we're going to put them towards the center. So as we said before, we want both of the sides to look identical. add glue and position. Okay, so now the next two, again we're going to position it where we last and glue that one like that. So our rosebud is ready. I'm just going to put it aside. So the next size is petal 1 in the large rose, and we're going to actually start giving them a curl. Outways. So I also want to make one. So as you can see, I want both of the curls that we've created to be equal on both sides, because when you start making the rose, you won't have, if you have one curl lower and one curl higher, it would not be a very pretty rose. So I'm just going to loosen the paper a little bit, the middle, sort of like that. Now, also we need folds. I'm going to fold them again. So creating that fold there. So now we're going to putting petals on the rosebud. So adding glue, as we know, where we last finished, so it's right there in that position. We're going to add the petal right there, something like that, there from behind, as you can see. Now one on the opposite side. So we only need 4 of these petals for the first petal for the large rose. So now I'm going to add my finger here in the middle and try to position the petal towards the bud like that. Add glue and just position them, and the other side. Okay, so as you can see, now we're going to add the other 2. I'm going to add them where there's empty spaces, like that, and do one on the opposite side too. Okay, so there we go, and also pick them up and bring them to the middle. Now we'll show you one thing that I thought. So now I can explain to you, when we start adding the petals, the next petals, now we've got these walls here we've created with the previous petals. So we're going to just add glue and just go towards the wall. And the other side. So we're using now these walls to add the petals. So see, I'll just turn this around like this. So when I open it up, pinch it a little bit, and I position it where the wall is. So that creates a solid, safe place for the petals. Now we're going to go to our next size, which we've got 12 of these petals. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Can use our first 4. And curl them again. Okay, I want to mention again, I want the two sides to be equally curled. Just going to loosen up the paper a little bit. Okay, again we're going to bend them. Okay, so now we're going to start adding them where we don't have petals. So I'm just going to turn it, we're just doing a one way, we're not. So we're going to add it into where we last finished. The opposite side. So we're going to add glue and attach them to the wall. As you see here now, these are our walls. Okay, I'm just going to show you. So these are our walls, and the template is just going to come right up to there and stop. It will just try it out without gluing it, so you will know that that will stop right there. Glue. You'll have a feeling of what to do. And add the templates where we've empty spots. So the rose is built 4 by 4 by 4. That's how we use the rose, 4 by 4. So now this one, as you see, now we've got that and that as a wall, and as the rose spreads, it will go straight to that. So the petals are going to be a bit larger for you to handle. But as I said, without me pushing or doing anything, it just stops right there where the wall is from the previous petals. So on this side, see now, bang, it just goes right where it's supposed to be. I also watch the other side, and I always want the opposite sides to look identical. I really like this rose because I also mentioned this in my medium rose, that it starts with a smaller, as it rises, when you do use it in a flower set or flower walls, it has that 3D affection when you hang it on the wall. It's a very beautiful rose and I love it, and it's not a heavy hard rose to make. So we're going to go next for again the same process as we did. Roll them. And mention again, repeat again, they are the same. Again. I cut my rose petals always by hand, and that's why I use the PDF templates for the roses, because I've got the measurement right there and there. So now we've got two that sort of are going. Now we're going to start positioning to start opening the rose. So as you can see, these 4 edges or corners here, we're going to start filling them up with petals. With the next 4 petals, we're going to start filling them up. These corners right here when you turn the rose around. So how we do that, I'll just show you. I'm going to add glue to the middle of the petal. I'm going to pick up the rose and position that edge or corner there right in the middle of that petal. So as you can see, the crease is, just want to show you, the crease is right there. So that crease shows you where to position that edge of the rose. So in the middle of each petal. So I'm going to do one, I'm going to do one across also. So only glue in the middle, you don't need it. Oops. Now it's getting a bit bigger, and position it right there. Okay, so that's, now I'm going to turn this around this way too now again. I just want to show how I actually open up the rose and to make it wider. So now, as you can see here, we've put, now see, I want to show you that edge that edge. So when I do press, it creates a firm, so I press that to create that crease there, and I pick it up and I glue it to the existing walls. So as you can see, I've picked it up like this. Now I'm just going to glue it and then explain. I'm just going to add glue here and here. You can either pick it up like that, or if it's easier for you, just squeeze that, and now it's going to go right to that wall here. Okay, so now I've created an opening. I want to show you that if you look right deep into here, it's a clear V shape, and it's very nice and clean. There's no, because when you hang it upwards, you will be able to notice if it's not. It's a very clean, sharp crease. So now on the other side again, press, create that crease right there. That's the corner of that. So create that crease. Bend the petal here inside these, so like this. So when I bend them, the bottoms, when I bend them, they do go, and then I just add glue and I stick it to these walls that we've got here. So I want to mention the walls. If creating the rose and the walls that you're using now won't accept your petals, that means that you've moved the rose. Even if you move it less than an inch, the walls will go a little bit, so making a less of a mistake. The rose will not be able then to get these walls. It will just, that's what I think, so that's my opinion. So now we're going to put the other two and use the same. Okay, so this is a large rose, and I will have probably a harder time. So position even that one in the middle and do the opposite. And position that also in the middle. Okay. So as you can see, now again we have push and create that crease there and bring that towards the walls. Add glue, and crease, pinch, and our rose should look like that. Okay, so now we want to fill in the gaps that we have here. As you can see, all the gaps are equally the same. These two opposite are the same, and these two opposite the same. So the rose has got a very nice solid form at the moment. So I don't know further on. Okay, so now we're going to go, and I'm just going to put that away and use another 4. So these are from this size. These are the last 4, and then we've got okay. I'm also going to make creases with these two. Now I'm going to get the rose. Now, as you can see, these 4 spaces that need to be filled up with petals. So that's how the rose has to look at the back. So these have to be filled up with the petals that we've got. So again, put glue in the middle and position the petals, as you can see now, and do that on the opposite side. Okay, so now we have to fill in these gaps. Now what we're going to do, now I want to show you the walls of these. So what we're going to do, add glue here and hold them and just position them towards the walls right there. Okay, so I'm just going to add glue here and here. And I'm going to put my thumb here and move this petal towards me and add it to that wall here, and this one to this wall. So as you can see, it's just a little bit of a nice gentle, not as high as these ones, the previous ones. Again, we've got these walls here, so add glue, hold it in the middle here and position it towards the walls where you've got a solid wall to add petals. Now we have these two. And I do it upside down. I'll get a better view when I had the petals in between here. So and across. I love the lilac. It's such a beautiful color. It really. Okay. So we're going to do the same to these ones. Add glue, and now these are the walls here. Okay. Okay. Now for this one, these are the walls here. We'll add glue and just glue them. Okay, so now we've finished using this size of petal. Now we're going to go to a larger size of petal, which is the last. We've got 8 of these pieces to create a large rose, so I'm going to use 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to roll them all. Similar and creasing again. Crease. Okay, so now as you can see, the petals are getting bigger. Now I'm just going to turn them around. As you can see, we've got empty spaces, 4 empty spaces, so that's where we're going to position our petals. Just going to add half, and I'm going to position that petal right there at the corner. So we're covering and giving life to the rose. Alright, so as you can see. So first I'll do these, and then I'll come again. Now we've got the petal right there. I'm going to add glue here and here, and we're going to pick up the petal and take it to, again, to, oops, I just burned my hand, to the walls that we've got here. So on this side, these are the walls that we've got. So I hope you can see everything. It's just very hard for me to hold on. This is a big rose. It's not a small flower. You can. So as you see, now I'm going to put the opposite sides. One here and one here. So using my guide of creasing them right here to the edge, it's going to stop right there. So I'm using that as a guide where to position the. That's why I did the creases. So now I'm going to put it. That's it. It's just right there, and that's sort of again I'm going to pick up and glue them towards the center. Okay, so these are our walls again. And I'm trying to see and you to see what we're doing here. So just going to, oops, there. So now we put, as you can see, the rose is square now at the moment. So what we do, we will put the next 4 petals to round the rose. Okay, so now I'm going to just round these ones up. So with these ones, I'm not going to give them a crease, and I will show you how to round them up. I'm going to put it upside down again. So as we see these empty spots, we're going to add the petals there. When I add the petal, I just want to show you this. I want to add the petal the same length as this one, because that's how the rose will be rounded. If we add that additional petal that's the same length as that one. So that's why, as I said, I'm not using the creases. So I'm going to add this and make it equal to this petal. Okay, and one across. So I'm just going to turn it around and show you. As you can see, they're just sort of barely going behind that. As you can see, so it's just in between there, and it's creating a roundish rose. I'm going to add, so what we do with this one is just add a bit of glue and just position it on top without making a heavy crease. So that's there, and then I'll just add glue to the other side and do the same. Just position it just a little bit, sort of. You'll get the hang of it when you will. So that's the trick of the going round. You just position them as the previous templates are positioned in that height. So I'm going to add the next 2. Okay, oops, this one's in there. I don't like a long video tutorials. That I was just trying to make it a bit shorter for you. I personally don't like a long video tutorials. So I'm just going to put it a bit higher. Okay. And the opposite side. And make it equal with. So that's how you will get a rounded rose. I'm going to show you. There you go. See, the rose has gone round. Now just drop it on this side too. So as you can see now, I don't know if you can see the whole rose. I'm trying to, sorry. As you can see now, the rose has got round because of these pieces that we added on. So it's rounded up. So hope you like this tutorial. I hope I've helped you in creating roses in your life. So I'm just going to measure it for now. The large rose is around 16 to 18 inches, and the extra large rose will go from 18 to 20 inches if you're using the other petals. You will have an explanation in the PDF and also the tutorial